So it is a lovely cool 15 degrees this morning, and that is perfect because I have a lot of work to do here in my garden. It is very overgrown, and I need to get in and pull some plants that are going to seed, do some weeding, cut back a bunch of stuff. But before I do that, I want to take a little bit of video and just show you, and actually it's for me as well, because I want to be able to look back on this and learn from some of my mistakes. Okay, I'll show you some video. So I took my inspiration for this garden for packing in as much as I can from an account that I saw on Facebook, Instagram, one or the other, maybe both. Anyway, Derived from Nature. And if you have not come across any of her videos, you should totally check her out. She's got some really awesome ideas. And she packs a lot of stuff into her square foot gardens and gets awesome harvest from it. But she's a lot smarter than I am. She's been doing it a lot longer. To be honest, I discovered her just at the very beginning of the season when I was starting to garden, and I started mimicking her, copying her, applying her lessons to my own garden before I had actually learned a whole bunch about her. So and the way she gardens. So I definitely learned a lot. I'll continue to watch her videos, learn more from her, apply what I learned from her into my own garden. Anyways, I packed too much stuff in, so things are a little overgrown. I need to be definitely more cognizant of that next year when I do my garden. Pack it in, yes, but maybe not quite as much as I did this year. But definitely, if you're into getting the best bang for your buck, you should totally check out her account, Derived from Nature. She has no idea that I am doing this. I just think she's fantastic and I love her gardening style. So yeah, check her out. So right off the hop, you should know that we were away from Norman Wells for the entire month of July. Now, I had someone come in and water my garden for me while we were gone, which was a huge job, I might add, and they did an absolutely fantastic job of it. I came back and everything is obviously alive and doing really well. But a garden needs a little more than just to be watered. I wasn't here to be able to fertilize. I wasn't here to be able to prune stuff or weed anything. So that is the reason that my garden is looking a little overgrown and a little untidy, a little unkempt. So you can see that right now I am working on my peas. Well, more specifically, the pea trellis. I would definitely say that this was my biggest failure. Well, maybe I shouldn't call it a failure. I will say this is my biggest lesson learned. I did not make my pea trellis sturdy enough. I thought that just putting up some sturdy branches and tying them together and allowing the peas to climb up that trellis would be enough. And had I had more branches, less peas, it would have been fine. It's just that I really wanted to pack in as much as I could, which would have been fine. I just needed to have a much sturdier pea trellis. So when we got back from our holidays, the peas had just completely caved in on themselves. Obviously, if peas are caved in like that, you can't really pick the peas that are in the center because you just can't get at them. So this was my biggest complaint. It just looked so messy and untidy, and unfortunately I really had to go in and get ruthless with all of my peas. I pulled out the trellis and cut back a lot of the peas, and then I just started building it back up. No, it's not perfect, but I really do think that in the end it looked way better than it did before I went in and started pulling stuff out, cutting it back, and then just resetting up my pea trellis. It was a good lesson. It was a good lesson. I will definitely plant the same amount of peas next year. Actually, I will probably plant more. I will just make sure that I have a much stronger trellis for them to climb up. So I think I have got my garden cleaned up to where I want it. Now I'm going to clean up the mess. So can you see my whole total face? Okay, what about now? Now, the biggest lesson that I have learned, well, it's a lesson that I continue to learn because I've known this for a while. It's just definitely sunk in a little bit more this year, is that the key to a successful garden is your soil. Now, up here in the Northwest Territories, Norman Wells, it is really difficult to get your hands on good soil. You can't just dig up your soil here and expect that it's going to be good. We dug up the ground for these two garden beds and built the frames around it, but there's really no nutritional value in the soil up here. It's just, there's just not a lot of nutrition in it. It's very difficult to grow a garden when your soil is not good. So I am doing the best that I can. I have 2 compost bins going that I alternate between. I compost virtually everything that I can get my hands on. I also have worms that I use for composting, red wrigglers. But the thing is with compost, like it takes time, right? It's not like you compost all of your stuff and then within 2 weeks you have a lot of compost to add into your soil. It all takes time. So this is kind of where I am at. This is year 2 of my garden here in Norman Wells. And yeah, I still have a long way to go. But I'm telling you, I'm really proud of the work that I have done so far because I would still consider myself very much a newbie gardener. I've been trying to garden for the past, I don't know, like 9 years, but I'm just not good. I'm just not good. But here, crazily enough, is where I have learned the most about gardening. And here, crazily enough, is where I have really, really fallen in love with gardening. So wherever we end up in the next few years, whether we're here for another summer, not here for another summer, we don't actually know. Wherever I go, I will always have a garden, even if it's just container gardens. But yeah, I really love it. So I feel like everything is looking pretty good. I didn't have to do a whole lot of stuff in here. A little bit of cleanup. Pulled out some of the cilantro. It looks better. And did a bit of cleanup in here. Cut back some of the dill that was just kind of getting in the way even for me getting in here. Cut back the nasturtiums. That one I just chopped. I'm going to see if it will actually regrow a little bit. I have no idea. We shall see. Didn't do a whole lot with these peas because there is new growth. So I'm gonna leave it. Yeah, like see, there's new growth. There's actually like flowers. I'm gonna get some new peas here, so I'm leaving this, not touching it. I did clean this up a lot. Hacked it back. It looks a little worn, beaten around, because it has been beaten around, but I do think it's better, and I do think it will perk up. And I do think from the pruning that I had done prior to today that my sweet peas will actually keep producing. Oh, I see I missed some pruning, so I need to come back in and cut all of this off, because the more pruning you do, the more flowers you should get. So we shall see what happens. I think it looks good. Again, like I said, I just chopped off some of the stuff that was going to seed, some of the dead stuff, and like I just left it in the bottom. Is it super pretty? No, but I'm okay with that. It's to serve a purpose. Ooh, you can see my shadow. Oops. Yes, the nutrients from the decomposing veggies will go back into the soil, and I think it's good. I like it. I'm happy. Did not do a whole lot over here. I cleaned this one up pretty good a while ago, so I just did a tiny bit of weeding and stuff in here, but it's okay. Looks good. Ooh. Gonna eat this one. So my next project is this, but that will be for another video.